You have to sing tonight or something? Not tonight. Oh, yeah. I think Sunday.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the May 6th mission service, the last service that we'll have for this year of missions, because New Year starts in June. Some of the prayer requests that I wrote down is Pastor Bob and Sonny, Jim and Sherry Morse. They will be leaving at 10 a.m. in the morning for Branson, Missouri. So we just need to pray for safe traveling mercies and that they get to enjoy what they want to in Missouri. Bob's looking so forward to this trip. He said, it may be my last trip, but he said, I'm going and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'd ask that you remember my Sarah Bear. She's dealing with, could be very serious, but we're praying that it's not going to be. But she has a cyst somewhere that I'm not going to mention. My mom goes at 8 something this evening to Marietta to the sleep lab for a sleep test. So just keep her in your prayers. She's not looking forward to it. She don't like being away from Dad. But Dad's going to stay with my oldest daughter, so he won't be too far from her. Any update on Gene Anthony?
Yesterday, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But he's feeling better.
Did she have a heart attack? A light one? Okay, because I knew there was a talk of she did or she didn't. Okay. Gary and Darlene. Camp season is upon us. Kids' camps will start in June and run through July. And then family camp will also be in July. And then our revival, we definitely want to remember our revival. Is there anybody else that you can think of? Just the ones on our prayer or in our bulletin and stuff.
Keep James Ramsey in prayers and stuff. He had a long surgery from about year to year. To give right about the base of the neck and stuff all the way down. He had there's a picture Kay can probably see and stuff, but he had to have his spine fused. And originally it was just going to be C2 to C4, and then they found out the damage was a lot worse than they expected, so they went down a pretty good distance to fix his back. So hopefully everything goes well and he starts regaining strength and everything. He said he's able to move around a little bit, do some light chores around the house, but it's still a long road to recovery.
Uh-huh. And I know Kevin Travis did have his knee surgery on Monday. He got home Monday about 5 o'clock, and therapy came on Tuesday, and they were amazed at how much he could actually move just by Tuesday, Sheila said. Other than that, I know Mark, do you know anything different? What did Mark tell you about his shoulder, babe?
I'll do some therapy and see what else can be done.
Yeah, what he told me, he had some bone spurs. He had a lot of torn cartilage and stuff like that. So they're going to try to do some therapy first, and then if that doesn't work, then obviously they'll set him up for surgery.
Okay. All righty, well, Michael, would you like to offer a prayer for these prayer requests and the service this evening?
Lord, we thank you for this chance to come to your house this evening. We ask you to watch over all those that we have prayer. With Mark as he tries to go through physical therapy. Be with Roxy as she does her sleep study, Lord. Go ahead and be with all the others that are currently either in the hospital or recovering from being in the hospital, Lord. We ask you to go ahead and be with Angie as she delivers missionary service. Be with us that we may take it to our hearts and understanding. Lord, watch over everybody when they depart from here to go their separate ways. We ask this all in your holy and precious name.
Miss Carla, do you have last month's minutes?
I do somewhere, but I didn't have my projects. Very good.
Yeah. Take your time. I'm going to get you a mic. That way I'm, yes, you do. Got the yellow ones underneath here. It's easier to get turned on. Hello? Hello?
Goodbye.
Hello? Did you find them or not? Okay. Well, we'll just disperse.
I did take minutes.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. No biggie. We'll just disperse of the minutes from April. Don't worry about it, Carla. As far as the treasurer's report goes, the bank statement ending March 31st shows that we have $321.85 in,
I didn't have the sit part, but I did remember 321.
yeah. 321.85 is what the bank statement shows. Easter offering, we brought in $276, Michael said. So he took care of sending that to Kansas. And then you do the world evangelism at the end of this month.
I've already sent off a good portion of it. All I gotta do is probably after the 17th or so, figure out what's left, and then I'll send the rest of that. That way it's in there before.
So how much have you sent so far? Do you know approximately?
I'm pretty sure it's about 850 something, 875. I'm not.
Okay, because I have a report that I have to fill out and send to John.
Yeah, I can send you a copy of what I've sent out.
Okay. I prayed really hard about this evening's service. The NMI sends out stuff about the missionaries and everything, but the bad part about it is you don't get it on your email until the day that you're scheduled to give the service. So this morning, when PK printed it off and everything, I read through it and I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but I wanted to take a look at how missionary mothers may be feeling around Mother's Day who are serving out in the fields and in other countries. Missionaries serving out in the fields may have a mixture of deep longing and spiritual fulfillment on Mother's Day. They may be struggling with homesickness while finding joy in where they're serving at and everything. They may be feeling sadness of being away from their mothers and their families. But a lot of that can be taken care of by support of prayer and by support of calls and letters and things. Nowadays, now, some missionaries may be in areas that they can't receive phone calls and stuff. But there was 4 different aspects that I thought we'd take a look at this evening about the emotions and experiences that they might be feeling. Like for homesickness and separations, missing their mothers and their family. But at least possibly and hopefully they can join in with the families in the area that they're serving. I know I, for one, can say, I'll just tell you a story about me. When I was young and I couldn't understand why you had to be a certain age to go to church camp. When I was growing up in church, I told Mom, I said, it's not fair. I said, all the other kids are gone. She said, they're older than you too. So I kept crying and crying. I told Mom, I said, I want to go to church camp. She said, well, next year you'll be old enough to go. Mom and Dad took me down and they drove off the campground. By Monday, I was crying. I was crying my eyeballs out. I told them, I said, I want to go home. And they said, well, camp just started. I said, yeah, camp just started, but I said, I'm telling you, I want to go home. Well, my camp counselor that was in my dorm, she was so sweet. She kept trying and trying her hardest to get me to quit crying. I cried all day long, all night long practically. Well, we had what was called family night. And we usually held it, I think it was on Thursday evenings. Mom and Dad came down. She could tell that I had been crying. She said, what's wrong with you? I said, I want to go home tonight with you. She said, no, ma'am, you are not. I said, but Mom, I want to go home. She said, no. She said, you cried till you were old enough to come to camp. And she said, you're going to stay till the week is out. She said, you have 2 days left. And she said, you are staying here. So I can say that I felt homesickness then. Does anybody want to share a time that they might have felt homesickness?
a certain time that you leave for the first time, seeing stuff, we went all the way down to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and we were doing just, a full week down there just to get the feel of what it'd be like living on the base and everything else. And yeah, I mean, you go down there and stuff, and you miss your family regardless. It's one of those things. I know I had to do it. All of us had to do it, but it doesn't take away the fact that you miss being home and with your family. So,
Well, I know I stayed close to Jess when you went to, I don't,
time direct.
well, it was the last place they sent you, Kosovo. Yeah, me and Jess stayed really close then.
You're the
The second part of where I wanted to look at was the spiritual purpose. Many of your missionaries may feel that the sacrifice that they're honoring the calling from God, and they may often feel a special connection with, once they get placed where they're supposed to be, where God tells them that they are supposed to be placed, and can make connection with the people there, then they don't have all that nervousness and stuff as it goes along. The other place that I wanted to mention was the gratitude, of course, of technology now. It's much easier to connect with missionaries and people that are serving out in the field nowadays because we have those little boxes that we all like to carry around, if the missionaries are allowed to take them where they're at. Some people are not allowed to take them, I do know, in some of the certain areas that they're serving in. But like I said, there is other ways to connect, like with writing letters and sending cards and packages and stuff when they are able to receive them. The fourth and final place that I wanted to look at was the appreciation of the support from family and friends back here. They often express deep gratitude for the sacrifice of their families and the bringing up of the motherhood that their mother may have put behind them and supporting their decision to go and serve in the mission field. While Mother's Day is a difficult time for many missionaries that are serving, they are also strengthened the appreciation for family and influence from people back here and all around the world that are praying for them. As your NMI president, I do want to wish all of the mothers, missionary-wise or non-missionary, a very happy Mother's Day. I know it's a little early, but I do want to wish everyone a wonderful Mother's Day, because this weekend we are celebrating the bringing up that you may have had from your mother, and it may not be your own mother. It may be somebody that you looked up to and everything. PK is going to play a video of that I found today that shows kids and stuff wishing their mothers and stuff back here a happy Mother's Day. So if you'll go ahead and play that video, babe.
What I put into my life is what I'll get out of it.
My mom always taught me if I'm going to make a big decision, like serve a mission or go to college, that it's my choice and that someone else doesn't make it for me.
Mom always taught me to love one another no matter what. And that love that goes around comes around.
Que mi mamá me enseñó cómo trabajar muy duro.
I'm grateful that my mom has taught me how to be optimistic.
Mi mamá me ayudó a reconocer mi propósito de vida.
One thing I'm grateful for that my mom has taught me is how to see the best in every moment.
I'm thankful that my mom taught me how to be diligent and work hard in everything. I love you, Mom.
Something that my mom has taught me is to always be happy. Love you, Mom.
Estoy muy agradecida con mi madre por todo el amor que me ha dado y toda la confianza que me ha dado en estar en la misión.
Estoy bien feliz que mi mamá me enseñó a poder amar a mi familia.
Estoy agradecido por mi madre, por cada uno de los consejos que me dio antes de venir a la misión y que ahora estoy aplicando acá.
Amo mucho a mi mamá y estoy tan agradecido por ella, por haberme creado en la iglesia y también enseñarme cómo ser más como mi Salvador Jesucristo. Te quiero, mamá.
I'm grateful for my mom and helping me build a strong testimony of Jesus Christ.
Something that my mom taught me is how to be a good listener. Gracias, mamá, por enseñarme a cocinar. Gracias, mamá, por enseñarme a amar a Dios y a Jesucristo sobre todas las cosas.
Agradezco mucho por tener mi mamá en mi vida. Ella me enseñó que tenemos que amar a todos y ser amables a todos. Ella fue un gran ejemplo para mí y me enseñó eso. Y gracias a mi mamá.
Gracias, mamá, por ayudarme a ser más paciente.
Estoy muy agradecido que mi mamá me enseñó a amar y servir al Señor.
My mom always taught me two phrases.
Would anybody be willing to share anything about their mother?
My mother's left all of us, but I know there was a long time when she became Christian. My dad was always at church. Go and over to the Lord. Mother-in-law was in 2008 every day. They're in a
Yep. And one day we will see them. Anybody else?
Never knew my grandmother Bosch. I knew my grandmother Lucas, Nan. I know that Nan loved all of us kids. Mom loved all of us kids. And even though I don't know how she put up PK and Mark at the time, but she's always she would always be there for us regardless. And even now and stuff, she's still helping Mart out when he needs help. She'll offer to help us out if we need help. And I know she's offered to help you guys out because you definitely need help.
Watch it, boy.
But it's one of those things. I mean, a mother's love is very rare.
Yeah.
It's something that, unless you're a mom, you don't really fully understand it or grasp it. It's the same way with father's love. Until you're father yourself, some would say, "Oh, I know exactly what that feels like." You don't. Not until you're an actual father or grandfather or what have you, where you look at that child and know it's a part of you, either as it being of your flesh and blood or your child's flesh and blood.
What is my mother call in, I wouldn't be that niece. For years. It's 35 years.
I know mom always took us to church with grandma. We would go up to grandma's on the weekend and we would stay all weekend with her. And then her and grandma would take us kids and go to church. Dad didn't go to church at that time, but grandma ended up in the hospital for something. And there was a lady in her room and she kept talking about Sunrise Baptist and how she just lived out the road from Sunrise Baptist. And she told my mom, she said, I want to introduce you to the pastor when he comes in to see me this afternoon. So she introduced mom to the pastor. And I mean, we just lived a few feet out the road from the church. And that next Sunday, mom took us to church there. And then it was shortly after that, dad started going with us. And I've been brought up in the church all my life that I can remember. And I know that if it was not for my mom and my dad, I would not be alive. And the man that's sitting up there behind that computer, I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for that man up there and my mom and dad, I would not be alive right now. Because sadly to say, most of you know my first marriage was not a good marriage. And PK was best friends with my ex-husband, and he stuck right by me and made sure that I was taken care of. All I had to do was pick up the phone and call him. I think one night, he lived in Belleville at that time, and I lived on right off of Core Road, just above where we live right at the moment. And I asked him when he pulled in my driveway, I said, how in the heck did you get from Belleville to here in 5 minutes? He said, it wasn't 5 minutes. I said, well, it sure the heck seems like it was. But he said, you called, you said you had the police coming, and he said, I jumped in the vehicle and took off. I think he had your dad's truck at that time. So I would have to say I love my mother to death. Anybody else want to share before I close out the service? All righty. Well, if you all will stand. And Mr. Mike Alexander, would you close out our mission service?
Once again,